Hello and welcome to the Free Bin, the Toledo, Oregon Public Libraries podcast. I'm Harrison.
And I'm Cindy.
And I'm Christopher.
We have Christopher Davis here with us from our Lincoln County Library District. He is our cataloger, and we are excited to have him on the show today.
Yes, welcome.
We are gonna. Let me get the applause going. Yes.
You're all too kind.
Christopher is the one who saves us when we have an unusual item that we don't know how to put in our catalog. So if you find something interesting in your library's library of things, you thank your cataloger. And that's just one of the many, many things that Christopher does for us in the library district.
Ooh, I have a question. What's the weirdest thing you've ever cataloged?
A cup from a hotel. You know, one of the disposable cups by the sink.
Why? Who wants to check out a cup?
I'm intrigued.
I took as many cataloging classes as I could take in library school. And for my advanced cataloging class, I wanted a challenge. And they said that we want you to catalog something. Mm-hmm. Some realia. Realia in the library world means something that's not like a book that has content that way, but it's something like a pair of scissors or a model or something like that. That's realia.
Oh, okay.
And so I chose a cup preserved in the plastic. It was still sealed in the plastic. That's what I mean by preserve. Sorry.
Oh. A clean cup.
A clean one.
Cup. Yeah. And it was a Howard Johnson cup.
Oh, well, it's classy.
I still have it at home somewhere because I was like proud of it, you know.
Howard Johnson.
But it's cataloged in some library somewhere.
Actually, no, I just cataloged a record for it. It's not even in the library.
Yeah, it's hard to barcode that.
That's okay. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was going to ask you, so what's the most memorable thing you've cataloged for a librry? Can you beat the cup?
Yes.
I want to know if I can check it out. That's what I want to know.
I did my my capstone, which is like an internship for my library degree, and it was at Brigham Young University in the music and dance library. Okay. And they are fortunate to have a lot of original manuscripts.
Nice.
Well, they do have manuscripts, but the original publications. Mm-hmm. So I cataloged I believe it was, I want to say a quintet or some sort of symphonia or something from Mozart, from the original, from the 18th century. It was about 1792.
Wow. Oh, wow.
That it was published. Of course, you know, he died in, was it later than that? No, it couldn't have been, because he was born in 92. Gosh. So anyway, it was very early, but it was original. Wow. And I was able to, that's probably my most memorable.
That's cool.
I'm going to adjust the mic here.
Okay. And I'm sure that there were lots of like precautionary things you have to do. And
you know, it wasn't too bad. There was just, I had to wear, you know, like cotton gloves type of thing.
Yeah.
It was in their vault, which is literally a vault in the music and dance library where they have things like that.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Wow, that's great.
So that was memorable.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, it was very interesting. I also want to say something that I also administrate, or I'm the administrator of the ILS for the Chinook Library Network. ILS is the Integrated Library System, so that's the computer system that keeps track of every library's books and videos and realia, like cups, and other items, who has them checked out, how long do they have it for, what fines do they have, when is it checked in. I wanted to run a report and see how many checkouts we had over summer reading program. You know, the ILS does all that type of thing. Or I need a catalog, you know, so you can do that in there too.
I think we should do our drink.
We should do our drink. So Cindy,
this is my first time doing the drink.
Yes. Okay.
What do we got?
I brought in something I don't think they'll make again, because it's uniquely related to a movie that was released, and it is the official, I'm going to read the bottle, the official Beetlejuice movie Haunted Apple Fanta Soda. So.
And not to mention it has Michael Keaton on the front.
It does have Michael Keaton in his Beetlejuice looks.
And he's got a few lines on his face this time.
Yeah.
Even the makeup doesn't cover it up. Sorry, folks.
Yeah, I know. But it's you can tell it's Beetlejuice. It also has the black and white stripe thingy that, matches his suit. I mean, it's pretty cool. But it is, do we want to know how many sugar?
Sure.
Well, and it's green, ladies and gentlemen.
It is green. It's like candy apple green.
Yeah,
It's
beautiful.
really green.
Yeah, dark
So,
green.
yeah.
Does it have any, does it contain any Michael Keaton extract? Or is this...
They don't
There
list
it is, right there. There it is.
There's
I see
pieces
it.
of, no.
It's like Goldschlager. It's little bits of...
No, but there's a lot of dye in it.
Soylent Green is made of people.
No, it's got 70 grams of sugar, I'm just saying. So after the last one we did that was blue, our, what was it called? Frosty? Our Frosty?
Frosty.
Blue cream soda. Yeah, right there. It was blue, and this one is green. So maybe I'm going for primary colors.
Yeah, maybe we got a theme going.
A theme.
Here.
Okay. I'm going to, again, let you open it.
All right. I'll hold it directly over the mixer.
And I did not shake it.
Yeah, shake it up, pour it over the laptop, and
the soundboard. It'll be fun.
Little in here. I'll just split it up a little bit.
You do not have to drink it all if it's horrible.
Thank you.
Yeah, and just,
I'm sure
I'll reserve some behind.
Ooh, it smells good.
It does.
Let's try it.
We've got a little left in the bottle here. Give it a... Whoa, it smells like...
It smells like apples.
It does.
But it smells like...
It's a spiced apple.
I was going to say there's a little bit of Christmas in there. I can kind of smell the spice, or Christmas spice.
It is
holiday
Christmassy.
spice.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Ugh.
It tastes like
potpourri.
It tastes like potpourri. It's got definitely the aftertaste is potpourri.
Oh yeah. The initial.
That's not bad. I mean, aftertaste is a part of the experience, but the initial. Let me try again.
I don't like it.
Not a lot of apple.
No.
Yeah. The apple's more in the smell.
It really is, for something that is a Beetlejuice tie-in released before Halloween, it is aggressively Christmassy.
Well, what was it? The holiday apple, or no? It was a spicy apple.
Spiced apple.
So that makes sense.
What's the spice in it though?
Well, it's probably some chemical that it can.
I was going to say it wasn't on the ingredient
but
list.
It's not. Isn't it allspice or something like that?
Oh, maybe pumpkin,
like pumpkin pie
spice. Yeah. Cinnamon, nutmeg.
Supposedly, we all eat and drink and consume and love spiced. Holiday spice drinks from October through like February.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's just what everybody does.
You know what it tastes like to me? Not really, you can get caramel apple candy corn.
Oh.
And that's what it tastes like to me.
Yeah.
Candy corn's actually very nutritious. It's made out of corn.
Right.
It's vegetables.
Right. We discussed that before.
Eat your vegetables.
I'm a candy corn fan. So,
You're like, I haven't heard that one before.
Well, no, I hadn't thought about the fact that if it's made with corn syrup, it actually is corn. It's not an imitation.
That's true. I was just being cheeky.
Yeah. Well, I give it I would not purchase that again, nor do I want to drink anymore. So
I would purchase it again because this is just a novelty. It's not the best soda, or pop or Coke or whatever you want to call it, but not bad. Like it's fun.
No, that's true. But once is enough for me.
Something occurred to me as a use case here. You know how sometimes folks will make like a bundt cake out of just like boxed white cake mix, and then they pour in like an orange soda or something to make an orange cake or something? You could make a really nice spice cake using this instead of water in a cake mix, I bet.
You need to find a cook to try that out.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if I'll ever get around to doing that, but we have a limited time to get this Michael Keaton flavored Fanta.
Yeah. But you could, anyone who's listening, if you make it, call Harrison at the library and tell him.
And if it's bad, I'm sorry.
It won't cost you anything. A couple bucks for the cake recipe, a cake mix, that's fine.
And it'll be green, which would be Christmassy too. You could do
Well, true, but green food is a problem for me. It's just
green gets a bad rap.
It does. I mean,
I guess it's the whole mold thing, right?
Right,
Okay,
right.
that makes sense.
Yeah, I think I've been trained since childhood not to eat green things that come out of the refrigerator. Maybe that's it.
Or under the bleachers.
Oh. Okay, maybe we digress a little too much.
a little bit.
Last drink.
Last drink.
Okay.
And
look,
we've got more in the bottle.
you can have
Yeah.
more. We'll give you more.
I haven't heard your opinion, Harrison.
Oh, yeah.
What's that?
Drink.
I
know you were kind of like, it's good, but more spicy than
Yeah,
heavily.
I think as a beverage, this is a one-timer for me. Okay. But the aftertaste is lingering. I didn't really like it going down, but it's leaving a holiday flavor in my mouth.
Yep.
I'm probably my breath's gonna smell like fall.
Like autumn drinks.
Yeah,
harvest drinks.
And I can't
From
complain about
Starbucks.
that. It's smelled like a lot worse before. So
I don't know if I've ever had a good apple.
Drink
Yeah. Apple juice, and I love apple cider, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
oh, you heat it up. You heat the soda up and you drink it warm, and then
Yuck, that would be
In a
awful.
crock pot
yeah, there we go.
with a dipper spoon.
Right, right, and apple slices floating.
Yeah. Hey,
Oh, there we
Yeah,
go.
and holiday
maybe-
party.
maybe some cinnamon sticks. Floating.
There you go.
There we go. We got a
Okay.
plan. Okay.
Okay.
Thanks for the drink of the week.
Thanks for enjoying it with us.
Yeah, happy to.
I'm glad you like it, because there's more.
It's a novelty.
Yes, it is.
So what will we be discussing today, Christopher?
Well, Harrison invited me to be on this podcast, and I was excited. And I said, "Okay, what's the topic, Harrison?" And he said, "What do you want to talk about?" It's true Harrison style. And I think Brian, my boss, was like, "Oh, you guys should talk about Star Trek." And I was like, "Oh man, I could talk forever about Star Trek, but probably better not."
That's a later episode.
We'll bring you back for it.
We'll bring you back.
Okay. I do like Star Trek. Ask me about the Trekologist level 3. All right. Anyway, to be continued.
Ooh, I've never heard of that.
I
Me
said,
neither.
well, I really am into privacy, online privacy, keeping your data out of places where you don't know what it's being used for, away from Google or Microsoft or Apple or whoever, because you don't know what they're using it for. I mean, they make it in general terms. When you get an account, you have to read that really long contract and sign and say, yes, I agree to that. And a lot of times in that contract, it says, yes, you will allow us to harvest your data for purposes of X, Y, and Z. They're still kind of general what those purposes are, but to improve, we might share it with our third parties to improve marketing, blah, 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 or whatever.
Yeah.
And some people don't have a problem with that. I'm happy for you, but I do. And I see it all the time, working in libraries. We're information professionals, at least we're supposed to be. And that's one thing that it really rubs me the wrong way. And sometimes I shudder, when I'm trying to help somebody and I see that, something's trying to take advantage of that. Libraries often champion patron privacy. There's so much information we could ask for or collect from you that we do not, because we're not in the business of that.
Right.
Okay. We're in the business of giving you information and letting you decide what to do with it, and not choosing for you based on your preferences. Okay. We're sort of like pharmacists that way. I don't write the prescription. I just help you get it for you and tell you the instructions on the prescription.
So I do have a question, because I was looking at our show notes, and I'm curious to know about because I'm terrible at, I will tell you right now, I confess, my information's everywhere probably, it's just terrible. But when you go and it says about accepting cookies, I am always unclear as to what that means. and how can I only accept the ones I need?
And how can you download them? Because they sound yummy.
Oh, yeah. Well, the chocolate chip ones are my favorite.
Yeah.
So can you give us a little bit of a lesson on how to manage that?
Well, somebody thought it would be cute to call these little files cookies. I don't exactly know why, but I'm happy for them because I like the word cookies. Mm-hmm. And they're little files that download to your web browser that says this computer, blah, 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 whatever the number is, identifies your computer. And whenever you go back to that website, it says, oh, Harrison's back. And last time he looked at these things. And because of that, we're going to tailor his session on the website when he comes back. Now, there are other cookies that can track you. So in other words, Google is really notorious for this. So when you use Google, it will put a cookie on there, and then everything you visit thereafter, the cookie sends a message back to Google. Okay, Cindy went to Red Lobster website. Cindy went to the library website. Cindy went to the blah, 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 and it tells Google all these things based on that ID that it gave you. So if you clear your cookies every time, it's kind of like rubber gloves, you just kind of clean that off. But the whole, do you accept the cookies or reject all that are unnecessary or show me more or let me, tell me more? That option there is called the GDPR. Okay. And that's a European Union thing where they were like, we're sick and tired of websites not letting you know prominently that that they're tracking you. And so some websites don't give you the option to turn off ones that you don't want. They just say accept. And those are the ones that you can't really do anything about. Hopefully you're clearing your cache and browser and cookies and stuff after that. But anyway, a lot of websites do let you do that. Either you can customize which ones you do want. Maybe you want the functionality cookies turned on, but not the others. Or maybe you want the whole shebang, but that's with the GDPR. So that's one way to reduce being tracked around the internet. Is it going to do everything for you? It's not a magic bullet, right? But it will help.
So if you
answer your question,
and if you clear the history or whatever, the cache of cookies, does that delete them all?
It deletes the cookies. You can make cookies. You can make exceptions for cookies. So you could say, I want to clear everything, but my email cookies. Okay. Just keep in mind that your email may be tracking you too. But ladies and gentlemen, it all comes down to who you trust.
Right.
If you trust Google, if you trust, whoever, Proton Mail, you just go with that.
Right.
If you don't, there are steps that you can take. It's not I'm in this and there's no way to help protect myself or my privacy. There are ways to do it. Does that answer your question though?
Yeah. And what is the easiest way to on a podcast? You have to describe it.
Well, here's the deal. A lot of services such as Apple's iCloud, Google's G Suite, and so on, they are very, very convenient. When I need email and I need it on my phone, I just pull up my phone and it pulls up and stuff. That's very, very convenient. To keep your information private, it comes at a cost. It's not a monetary cost usually. Sometimes it is, but usually it's a cost and convenience.
Okay.
So clearing the cache and the history and the cookies and all the other things on your browser every time, like I said, it's like taking that off that rubber glove. And it doesn't leave fingerprints and stuff, so they can't track you. But on the other side of that, you will always have to log into your websites. And that can be very inconvenient for some people. Other people, it's just mildly inconvenient, but they can live with it. And then other people are like, I don't want to be logged in. Logging out of websites when you leave them is a good one. So Amazon.com loves you to stay logged in. So again, they can see what you're looking at. And they can tailor the selling experience to what you're looking at. Yeah.
Right.
As long as it's been a feature of browsers, I've other than doing things for work or school or stuff that I want continuity between my sessions. I generally do everything in a private or an incognito browser, which is kind of a misnomer because it does not keep you anonymous in any way, but it just kind of
it can to a degree.
Okay,
depends on what you call anonymous. Yes,
right.
Yeah. You know, if the cookies that the other companies put on your computer are not there, you're kind of anonymous that way,
right?
Because there's a profile being built with everything you do.
Yeah, and so
except for the library.
Yeah,
profile you.
Yeah. So I just do that just so that when you close the browser session, it doesn't keep the cookies and the login data and stuff, just to kind of keep things from piling up. And
that's true. But the caveat, if you are using, for instance, Google Chrome, it clears all that except Google Chrome.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
And they're tracking it. So just keep that in mind. You know, again, it's all who you trust. If you trust Firefox, which is run by a foundation instead of a money-making venture capitalist like Google is, then maybe you trust them better because it's a foundation and you just feel better about that. So just keep in mind, you're welcome to use the software or not use it, but their software is very convenient. It integrates into your phone. It integrates into your, your voice assistant at home, your Amazon Echo or whatever. And it all integrates. It's very convenient, but it also keeps everything and uses that to their advantage, not to yours.
Yeah. Yeah. Because we are, in some sense, we are the product that those companies sell.
They don't do it free because, they often don't do it free because they want to do us a favor. They often do it free because that information they're harvesting is worth money. Either to sell or to cater, to tailor your experience the next time you go, so you'll buy more. There's all sorts of different things. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Somebody's paying either you're paying the price with inconvenience or you're paying the price with having your information sold or used.
It's super interesting because I know that I'm not the most security conscious person online, and I need to be better. I can
tell you that there's a lot of browsers that make it hard to have privacy, to keep your information more private, and there are a few browsers out there that are really good at it.
Yeah.
So if you did want to do like what I'm suggesting, where it just clears everything every time, Firefox is a good one. DuckDuckGo is a good one, and Ghostly.
Ghostly, like GHOST, like a ghost.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Ghostly. And I think they're out of the UK. But anyway, those are good ones because you can set it up. You don't have to go in and clear it manually each time. It just, once you turn it off, it just does it automatically. Oh, and then it's like a brand new session when you start up. So, and Firefox, the only information that they collect are like anonymized. Okay, we want to see what happened when your browser crashed. So we want to see, your system, what state it was in, and you can have it run studies, but you can turn that off as well. So that you're like, I don't run studies on me, meaning they want to see how many people used a certain feature or something like that.
Oh, okay.
And but it's anonymized.
Okay.
And anyway.
Yeah. Okay.
Who do you trust?
Yeah.
I've become a Firefox person. I was using Chromium for a long time, which is, if you use Google Chrome, Chromium is like still a Google project, but Chrome is Chromium with the Google branding stuff bolted onto it, is my understanding.
That's what Google Chrome is.
Yeah.
And Chrome is the underlying software, which a lot of it relies on the Google infrastructure and the cloud services. But you can get what's called ungoogled Chromium, which is where everything Google is purposely taken out and replaced with something non-Google.
Okay.
But it's not as convenient. One of the cool things about having Google Chrome is that it keeps track of your passwords and stuff. So anytime you log into Google, you have your passwords a lot of times, not every time. But so does Google. And it may not be end-to-end encryption. So their engineers, if they need to get into it, they can, whether they need to get into it to solve a problem or because they get, a order, or whatever that is. But if it's an end-to-end encryption, then they can look at it, but it's gobbledygook, right?
Right.
You can't read it.
So Chromium, the base Chromium, even without the Google branding on it, still has
the back
Google
end still
stuff.
relies on a lot of the Google infrastructure. Yeah.
Okay.
Just FYI.
Yeah. Firefox will always be close to my heart because it is a direct descendant of Netscape, and Netscape was the first web browser I ever used.
That's right.
Over the last 30 years, it is fascinating to me how we've come from when the web was new and I was a young lad learning how to navigate Yahoo chat rooms and things like that. And the basic rules were never tell anyone your real name, never show a picture of yourself, never tell anyone where you live. And now the way that most people use the open web is, here's my Facebook profile with a picture of my face, my full legal name, my phone number attached,
and my date of birth.
And my date of birth, so you can wish me happy birthday. And here's where I am right now, and here's when I'm going on vacation. It's become such a
So if you get a stalker,
they'll
know what your schedule is
right
all through the week.
Right.
And it's such a change from just culturally and
isn't it?
As well as security wise from what I, as a kid, remember. It was like, never tell anyone your name. And I still kind of keep that. I have been on Facebook. I'm not now, but well,
I'm on Facebook.
Well, even on Facebook, there are ways that you can mitigate. That you can minimize what information you share and who you share it with.
Right.
So be aware that it's not a all or nothing.
Right.
Facebook.
Right. Because you can make it private. You can you can keep your friend circle. You know, it's kind of, you have to dig into it though to find how to make yourself safe.
Go to the library and they can help you.
That's right.
For free, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, we are a free service.
I'm gonna. I added some show notes to the podcast, so make sure you look at them. There are just a ton of different organizations and tools that I put on here. The organizations teach you often about the things we're talking about, teach you how to practice safe browsing or things like that, things that you can do to keep your information more private. There's also a lot of security things on here. You don't have to do the security things, but they keep bad guys out a lot of times. No system is completely unbreakable because it just isn't. There are also some tools that I put on here. The tools are great because they could be an alternative to what you're currently using that uses your data. So if you're really into iCloud or into the G Suite, Google, then there are alternatives like Proton Mail or something like that. So Proton has a lot of the same services that you can use, but they make their money in a different way. And because you pay for an account, that's one of the times that you do. You can get a free Proton Mail account, but you can get much better services with it if you pay, $70, $80 a month or a year or something like that. Anyway, if you want to do everything monetarily free, you can, but usually it's a mix of what that I found is the best way to do this.
And Proton's free tier of services is pretty solid.
It's not bad.
Yeah. And they're based out of Switzerland, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Which is nice because in the EU, Switzerland has always played the neutral party, right? Their privacy laws are stricter there because of that fact, even in the EU.
Right.
So,
yeah, I've played around a little with Tuda, also Tuda, Tuda, who are I think German, and they're good too from what I've seen of them as an alternative to Gmail.
Well, those are just specific tools. So I just want you all to make sure that you look at the show notes.
Yeah. These are great.
And you don't have to go with any of those. You can go with all of them. I suggest you go with a good mix of them and look at them. The first few are just so there's University of Portland did, if you want to do research in this, they put together some articles basically on this is how you can, like I said, practice safe web browsing and internet use. Calix Institute, their goal is to educate the public on how to keep their your personal information private. Security in a box. How do I make sure my Wi-Fi connection is secure? And things like that. So there's just all sorts of different things on there. Take a look at it.
Yeah. Well,
Wonderful.
Thank you. That's great. I love that.
Thank you. Yeah, I consider myself a moderately paranoid person, and I've learned a lot from this discussion.
Well, good. But I try not to motivate people with fear.
Yeah.
Because usually better things come from people when they're not motivated by fear. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I don't want to say these things to scare you. If you're that kind of person where you're only motivated by fear, there's a video in here that you should watch on cracking passwords and stuff. But that's not there to try to get you, into switching. But unless you want to use that as motivation, then it's there. But anyway, what's some of the things, log out of websites, like I said, when you're done with them. Turn off the location on your phone when you don't need it.
Right.
Tell the app, I only want you to use location services in the foreground, meaning when I'm using it, not in the background.
Right.
There's one tool on here called /E/ is how it's written. But anyway, it's foundation in France, where they sell an operating system that's like, you remember how you said that there's ungoogled Chromium?
Right.
Well, there's ungoogled Android. And they sell, so basically you get the service, or you get the experience of Android without the Google backend, because they take out those Google components and they provide something in their place, and they have the back end cloud infrastructure that's similar to Google.
Oops.
So in other words,
Your boat went off.
sorry guys, sorry ladies and gentlemen. So in other words, you want to save your pictures. You got to give a boing. So you want to save your pictures and share them with your friends. But if you don't have Google, how do you do that? Well, you use Apple. Well, what if Apple's the same problem? Well, then you use Microsoft. What if Microsoft's the same problem? So the E Foundation, they offer photo sharing and photo storage and things like that, or they offer email and things like that. So, but they take the Google side out of it. There's a research study out of Vanderbilt University that they found that an Android phone will contact or call home to Google approximately 40 times a minute when it's turned off, or when the screen's off, and like 90 times when the screen is on. Just calling home. We can't exactly tell what Google's saying, but the reason why are they asking so much information of our devices?
Right.
Why are they communicating with Google that much? Now, this is, I believe, I'd have to look at the study closer, but I believe this is in addition to, well, what if I'm looking at my photos? Of course it's going to be talking to Google, but these are just telemetry. It's like a probe.
Oh.
Anyway, so you can get a phone from these guys if you wanted to buy a phone, and you get a lot of the same convenience without your information being shared with people you don't trust.
Yeah.
Again, the E Foundation is a foundation. It's not one to make money. It's nice that way.
Yeah. Knowledge is power. And when you're empowered, you can move through spaces in real life or online with less fear, more confidently, when you know what you're doing and where you're going. Because education is a huge part of it. If you just know, you can know what to avoid. So like that GDPR thing I was talking about, don't just click accept. Go in and say, okay, show me. And it'll explain. A lot of times they hide those buttons that you can switch off those cookies with behind something that says learn more, thinking, oh, well, if I click learn more, it's not going to actually change anything. But you can often,
they'll hide that behind there. So don't just click accept. Turn off those cookies. Yeah. And if you did that, that would prevent a lot of tracking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There is a tool on here where, let's say you're giving away your computer because you don't need it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You can, like a shredder, shred the information. It's not really going to shred your computer, but it basically deletes all your information and it writes over the top of it, erases it by writing over the top of it randomized or at least pseudo-random information. You'll just add up. Blah, 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 blah. So it's exceedingly difficult. Like the Department of Defense in the United States of America uses this software.
Oh, wow.
And it's free. It's open source. So
that's great.
Anyway, if you want to donate that, but you don't donate your computer to your nephew or just to the thrift shop, or you just want to throw it away and you're worried about somebody getting in that hard drive, you could drill the hard drive with a drill press. But if you're a fresh out of drill presses, you can use this software.
It's probably easier to use the software.
Nuke it so that it's sterile.
Nice.
There's nothing on there.
That's good to know because I know people update their computers, those that
their
have
phones.
Yeah, and to be able, does it work on a phone too?
I don't know.
Oh,
I don't think so.
Okay.
So
yeah.
If you delete something, typically it is still there.
Yeah.
Well, it depends on how. Yeah, it depends, and really it depends on how much money somebody's willing to spend. There are people that can't keep the NSA out of their stuff, no matter how much they try, because the NSA is so good. Or, the joke is that NSA knows almost as much about us as Amazon.com.
I believe that, actually. Amazon is really good at picking what I want to see. So
that's their advantage.
Yeah. And they get me every time.
And just so you know, folks, it's wonderful that you want to use your Amazon Kindle to read ebooks, and you're welcome to. But keep in mind that the Amazon Kindle's designed to do one thing. Can you guess what that one thing is?
Track you.
It's designed to buy from Amazon.
Oh,
So if you're not using the Amazon backend, it's a lot harder to get ebooks on there from the library. It's not impossible, and I'm not discouraging you, but just keep in mind that it's not going to be nearly as easy, and they're banking on that. They don't want it to be easy, because if it were easy, then you wouldn't give up and buy it from them.
Right.
And say, I'm sick of this, I just want to buy it, and then you buy it from them.
Right.
So just keep that in mind.
Yeah. Walled gardens.
But we're welcome. We'd love to help you here at the library, though, with your Kindle to get your ebooks on it. So if that's what you have, bring it in.
Oh, yeah. We can make it happen.
Yep.
I'm out of questions.
Yeah, Christopher's diving back into the Michael Keaton juice.
Please do. You can have mine. Well, I appreciate so much this the notes that you provided, because there's so much in here that I want to just go and see what they're saying. I think the DuckDuckGo thing, like if somebody comes in and has a question about a book, or what book, it had a blue cover and it was written by a woman, so Google is a great place to put in those search, because you get a whole lot of choices. So now to be able to use DuckDuckGo for that kind of search is much better option, correct?
Well, like I said, it depends on you want. The Google has a lot of great features. It will have things that DuckDuckGo does not have. But if you're willing to forego some of that, what Google has, it has most of what Google has. But if you're willing to be flexible versus, no, I need it the same.
Okay.
Then DuckDuckGo is for you.
Okay.
If you want it to be able to remember your searches, DuckDuckGo is probably not for you.
Okay.
Okay. If you want to be able to search something and then you see an ad for it in your email, DuckDuckGo is not the right one for you.
Okay.
They also offer things like aliases for your email. So in other words, you want to get a deal at the store, and to do so, you have to sign up for their newsletter. So you create a DuckDuckGo email address. It's a throwaway email address. It's like, 08943J16 @duck.com. It's doesn't identify you anyway, you give that to the business for the newsletter, get the discount that you wanted on your coat. And then when you don't want it anymore, you just turn off that email address.
Oh.
And then you're not getting the newsletters and stuff like that.
Wow. That's cool.
That is cool. I've never used that.
Yeah. That's a great idea.
Proton also has that. You know, Totonota probably does too.
Yeah.
All right. We need this information. It's really good for us to have it. But sometimes it's just good to think about what you're leaving online.
I'm going to leave you with one more gem. Nobody likes to talk about it. And that is what happens when you pass away. Who do you leave your Google account to? Or who can get into your phone? What if you don't know the PIN code to your spouse's or partner's phone? What if you don't know their passwords so that you can get into their phone, but then it's always asking for this password in order so I can get all the pictures of our wedding.
Right.
Well, some libraries, teach classes on that, and it's something that so a lot of, I know Google and Apple both have, they're called different things, but basically you can bequeath your account, give it access after you die. They have to provide like death certificates and stuff, but when you do, when they do, then they can get into your account versus it being locked up forever and all that's gone.
Right.
Something to consider.
I'll share kind of what I have been doing, and you can comment on what the pros and cons of that are. I keep all my stuff in a self-hosted, encrypted database. A couple copies where I can get at them, and then have a copy of that database shared with someone in my sphere who I trust. Accounts
like
and
logins and things like that, and
Yeah.
credit card numbers and passports and blah, blah, blah. Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah,
absolutely. That makes sense. And I like how you said that it's self-hosted, because then you're in charge of it.
Right.
Rather than somebody else is in charge of it. Again, not freezing beer, but freezing puppies.
Yeah.
Take care of these puppies. They're yours.
Yeah.
It's a little
But
extra
you get to
work.
control
what
you do with the puppies. You don't just rent them for the afternoon.
That would be fun.
Sometimes that's a better thing, huh? Because you don't have to.
You don't have them forever.
Exactly. It's like being a grandparent.
That's right.
They get to go home at the end
They
of the
go
day.
home when I'm tired of them. No, I never get tired of them, but it is nice for them to be. I'm out of that stage.
Yeah.
I like my grandkids a lot.
And you grandparents who do take care of your grandchildren. My heart
kudos
goes
to
out
you.
I
Kudos
know.
to you,
'Cause
man.
You raised your kids and now you're raising grandkids.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Pat yourself on the back.
Absolutely.
And have an
Beetlejuice,
official
Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice movie partner, Haunted Apple Fanta.
Well, thank you, Christopher, for
Very
coming. And we will
Thank
do this
you.
again. And I
Yes,
have
we
so
will.
many more questions, but we'd be here all afternoon. And
Right.
so we'll have to do another one
Indeed.
about all this stuff, about cataloging. That would be interesting too. Although the general public might not care.
It's
I
all
do.
in the presentation.
That's right.
All right. Well, we will talk to you all next week. Have a good one.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
The Free Bin is a production of the Toledo Public Library, which is part of the Lincoln County Library District in beautiful Lincoln County, Oregon. Writing by Harrison Baker, Cindy Balek, and Denise Marsh. Original music and editing by Harrison Baker. That's me. The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect those of any organizations they represent. Good night.